Okay, so today is going to be a very different video from my last one. Last one was a cooking video. This video, I'm going to be building this Porsche 911, my dream car, favorite car of all time, and I got it as a gift from Alexis for my birthday. So we're going to be building this Lego today, and I didn't just want it to be about building a Lego. I wanted to talk about different things that's been going on in my life. So I wrote it down in a notebook, and basically we're going to start out like this. The challenge for you, if you're watching, is for the entire video, don't use your phone, don't look at other stuff, just listen to the video and what I'm talking about, and maybe write down some notes or things that you think, your own ideas, and then we'll talk about it in the comments and have an actual conversation or discussion about what I'm going to talk about in this video. And basically this video is going to be talking about like my phone addiction and like how I'm always on it and how it affects me, my life, and other people. And I also wanted to talk about just like general distractions in my life and media consumption, stuff like that. So my phone is all over there. I'm basically going to sit here and talk the whole time. I'm debating if I want to have cuts in the video or not, but just know like I'm just sitting here and I only have a notebook, nothing electronic, no music in the background, no TV over here. It's just me, Lego, and you guys. So I challenge you to do the same if you would like to. And we're going to talk while I build this Lego. So let's just get started. Before we start with anything else, I love Legos. Legos are like one of my favorite things. I've been getting them since I was a kid. I would always go to the store and ask my parents for Legos, and I used to have a bunch. I'm really sad I got rid of all of them, gave them away. I have a few left, but pretty sad. Because Legos are actually a really good investment, apparently, because they hold their value and collectors pay a lot for Legos. So I should have known. I had a lot of really good rare ones back in the day. Also, apparently, I found out that their clicks, like the click when you put Legos together, they engineered that. Like, they designed the clicks to be like that, which I think is actually pretty insane. So we have 10 boxes or 10 bags, which is perfect because I've split this video up into 3 parts. Anyway, back to the video. I think that I've always kind of known, or not always kind of known, I think I started to be more addicted to my phone in high school. I was pretty good about it. I think every time before that, in middle school, because I didn't really have a phone and I wasn't really on it. But then high school came around, and I don't know when it was. Maybe it was after COVID, but I started being on my phone a lot more, like noticeably more. And, a lot of people call me out on it because they realized it too. It was just kind of a thing, like that I'm always on my phone. Like people would say that it feels like I'm ignoring them, but it just was something that it wasn't as nice, like not nice. It wasn't respectful. It wasn't something that I should have been doing, but I think it was kind of compulsive in a way. Like it was kind of addicting, and I think that I didn't really like think of it as addicting. I kind of ignored it as like something I needed to work on, and it kind of just kept going because I always thought like, oh, I'm just really I'm good at multitasking and I could listen to both things at once. And I would just go on my phone while people were talking to me about stuff. And I knew I could have been better about it and not done it because it's not as respectful and, it doesn't show that I'm paying attention. And I think that that is definitely something that made me think about this more, is having those conversations about not being as respectful about stuff when I'm not listening because I'm on my phone, and like people don't know or know or realize, or even if they do know and realize that that's how I've been, it's still, it's not fair to them. And I think that made me want to make a change, or at least start thinking about it. For me to talk about being distracted and being on my phone a lot and technology and not focusing on stuff like talking to people, I think it made a lot of sense for me to make a video about that. And I wanted to just give it my full attention. And because I think something like this deserves that, but I think there's so many more things that deserve my full attention that I don't do, that I should. And I think that's like a big thing that I kind of want to focus on this next year. But back to my whole thing with technology and scrolling on my phone. I think the main reason why I did it was because I think I need to be stimulated at like all times, or like I feel like I need to be doing something at all times. People that know me in my personal life know that I am like constantly doing stuff, or like I constantly have a project, or I'm constantly trying to find something to do. I used to work 2 jobs while in school, while doing other stuff. I still work one job, and I do a little bit more hours than I used to, and I still do other stuff. So it's not like I'm even completely not busy. I read somewhere that kids who tried really hard in high school, or like did really well in high school, feel like they always have to be doing something, because if they're not doing something, they feel unproductive, and it makes them feel worse because it feels like they're wasting time, even though the time that they're spending doing other stuff that they enjoy isn't wasted time. And I think I read that and I was like, oh wow, like that might be me. Because I'm exactly like that. I feel like if I'm not doing something at all times, like I'm being unproductive, even when, there's nothing for me to do. So I, do projects for myself. I make myself make YouTube videos like this in my spare time. And I think that had a few different reasons for me to want to make YouTube videos. But I do think that on some level, one of the reasons was because I felt like I need to be doing something or I'll be unproductive. I think it was a little different for YouTube videos though, because I've done it in the past. I enjoy doing them and like it's fun for me. It also helped like with job stuff for practicing and learning, which I think made it a little bit more beneficial for me than it would be if I was just doing it for like myself, or because I felt like I had to be doing something. I think that change of reading that made me kind of think more about like, oh, why do I need to always be doing something? Why do I feel like I'm wasting time if I'm not? Like, why do I think that by me not doing work or doing something productive, I'm wasting time? Like, in reality, like, we waste time all the time. I would think stuff like that, and then I would watch a YouTube video or watch TikTok for like hours. And like, that's literally wasting time, like exactly wasting time. I think like stuff like that kind of puts it in perspective that like, oh, like you have to, if you're gonna do something or think something, at least be consistent. I kind of realized that like, oh wow, I really need to make a change in my life and I need something to be different. But I think I'm doing a little bit better now or I uninstalled the app. So like immediately I already didn't have access to it because they had no way for you to re-download it if you uninstalled it, and I uninstalled it like kind of immediately, just because I was like, oh, I'm gonna have a lot more free time to do other stuff and it's gonna be easier for me to focus on stuff. I've been better about not being on my phone as much. It's a lot easier for me to not be on my phone all the time distracted because I don't have TikTok anymore. And it's kind of freeing in a way, but in the beginning it's kind of weird because you'll open your phone, swipe to where TikTok used to be, and then it's not there, and then you'll realize like, oh, I'm just swiping to where TikTok used to be, and then you'll like realize like, kind of how addicted you are to it, and that's kind of like a wake-up call, because it's actually ridiculous how much time we spend on the app. I thought it was just crazy because it was crazy to me to see how often I would go to swipe just to like be doing something or to be looking at something and to be stimulated. And I thought it was insane because why do I need to be doing that? Like there's other stuff I could be doing. Like I could be doing homework. I could be, watching an actually stimulating like show or something along those lines that would be a lot different. I think it's kind of good that it got banned because I actually have gone a lot more time. I deleted the app and then I looked at my screen time and my hours went down by 7 a week. So that's an hour each day that I've essentially gained because I wasn't on TikTok. That's like kind of insane because it's kind of a lot. And 7 hours a week is a lot too, because 7 hours a week is basically how long it takes for me to make these YouTube videos, depending on how long it is. But if I have 7 more hours a week to work on something like this, then that's a lot of time that I have where I can do something more productive than scroll and do something that I like want to do and want to focus on. I feel like I underestimated how long of a build this would be. So this video is just going to be a lot longer than I thought. The second topic that I've written down is talking about short form media and other distractions that make attention span worse. I think there are some good things that came from it, but there are also a lot of downsides. Short form media has really just become the dominant form of entertainment, which I would say shouldn't be the case. I think that short form media has its place, but long form media also does. And this may be just, a little bit of bias because I make long form media or I have worked with it for a while and I think that it's a good thing. But there's a lot, to learn from long form media and a lot to like watch, I guess. I think for me, long form media is better than short form media for just a lot of different reasons. But some of the reasons are because just the way that short form media works, just it gives you instant gratification. There's no storytelling. You kind of can just sit there and let the media come to you and you'll kind of understand it all inherently, just because what it is not necessarily deep or meaningful. There is a place in the world for media that doesn't have to be meaningful or deep. Like there is a place for that, but I think that it would be better if that was not the case. It also makes it harder to just appreciate long form media when you kind of want to. So like, if you want to watch a show or a movie that you've been putting off for a really long time, it makes it a lot harder for you to want to watch that show or movie if you aren't able to sit down and watch it without scrolling something else. And I think that used to be a real problem for me. I used to just not be able to sit down and watch something that like I've been wanting to watch, which I think is crazy. Like I've been wanting to watch a show or I've been wanting to watch a movie, but I can't sit down and watch it because I'm too distracted scrolling on my phone during it that like I have to pause it or I have to rewind. And I think that's, not good for you, but also, disrespectful to people who make media, disrespectful to people who make film. And I think it's something that I would want to see change just because of how it doesn't really help anyone in a way, except the people making money at the top, I guess. It helps them a lot. But it just kind of makes it harder for like us to watch media, to watch film, to like understand things. And I think that that's something that we could totally become better at in general. Like I'm not saying that if you watch short form content, you're not able to watch longer form media and film, but it makes it harder because what you're used to is not what you're going to see. I think that short form media kind of ruined my appreciation for long form media and made it harder for me to watch stuff that I wanted to because I was not able to focus as much as I should. That was tough for me to kind of swallow. One, I'm a media major, but two, just like, wow, I can't sit here and watch this show that I've been wanting to watch or this movie that I've been wanting to watch. That's hard. it's kind of hard to think about because as like, you know, a media major, I would expect that I am able to do these things because it's kind of what I'm studying for. So like I used to watch shows and movies in the background. Like I feel like a lot of us watch shows and movies in the background. Like I feel like we watch YouTube videos in the background. Like people, you're probably watching this in the background. That's, you know, perfectly fine. But I think that we've moved away from watching something to watch it, and we're kind of moved towards watching something to have something in the background. And I think that, like, especially for me, it isn't really good because it makes your focus worse in two different things that you're not paying half attention to versus spending your full time on one and then spending your full time on the other. And I think that's kind of where I want to go, and I've been working on that by watching stuff to watch versus watching stuff to have something in the background. And I think that has helped like a lot because it made it a lot easier for me to get through shows and like learn stuff about it. Kind of another thing that I've noticed just in my life is that it's not just short form content that kind of has changed like what I do, but also like music, which I thought was like really weird to think about because I feel like a lot of what I was listening to music for was less to watch, to listen to music and more to kind of like not have to think, if that makes sense. So like when I'm walking between classes and I'm listening to music, I'm not thinking about, I'm not watching the, I'm not watching to, or not listening to music to listen to the music, but I'm listening to the music to not have to think about anything between class or not have to like notice anyone else or perceive anyone else. And I'm kind of just like, it's kind of just there in the background as like something that can help me ignore the world in a way. And I thought that was kind of crazy to think about because I feel like that's not healthy or good, but it's what a lot of people do. So I thought that was something really different when I was thinking about this video. That was something really different that I just had never really considered would be an issue. But now that I think about it, it makes sense as just something that people do to ignore. I realize that I do that a lot. So recently I've been like not listening to music walking between classes. I know that might be like painful, but you know, if you really like take a day to just not listen to music and kind of just like walk around and listen, like you hear some interesting stuff. And I think it's not something that I'm going to do forever. I will definitely go back to listening to music because I love listening to music, and there are some times where I just need to drown out everyone else, but there are some benefits to just not being distracted the whole time. I think I've kind of learned that just based on the last few weeks and what I've been doing in preparation for this video. Yeah, that was kind of the big topic, the second big topic I want to talk about. Just, you know, adjustments I want to make in life and changes. Wow, look, it has an engine block. Oh, and it spins. Okay. All right, where does this go in the back? So I did a little bit of off-screen building. I made the chairs, and I made this suspension system, and it actually like turns with the steering wheel, which is pretty cool. So it'll move. But I started on the front bumper. I've not finished it yet, but that is the little update. I had to how many was it? It was like 50 gigabytes of stuff that I had to transfer over to my computer, or to my hard drive from my camera. So it took a little bit of time. So that's why I got so much done. But when I left off, we were talking about short form media and long form media and the importance of consumption, I believe. I have like one more section that I wanted to get through for this video. But you know, I think my timing was a little bit off because I kind of underestimated how long this would take because, you know, honestly, like this is a lot longer than I thought to be honest. Like, there's a lot to build in this. So, you know, if I start rambling about random things, that might be why. This last section that I wanted to talk about was what I'm actually going to do to try and make changes. Because at the end of the day, you know, I get everything I want here, but it's all talk unless I actually do something. So I kind of want some actionable changes for me to make in my life that, one, makes sense, two, is realistic. Because as much as I'd like to just ignore social media stuff, I feel like there's no way I could realistically do that. And that's okay, because I understand that it's like so ingrained in our society right now that it's not really something that I can ignore. And that's just like the reality of what's going on in the world right now. Sometimes it's okay to understand that there are things that are wrong or that you would like to change, but that you don't have the ability to change right now. And I think that this is one of them. As much as I'd like to change this kind of stuff, I feel like there's no logical way for me to do it where it makes sense for me now and in the future, because just a lot of what I do is, you know, social media related, because I'm a media major. YouTube is technically a social media. I'm making YouTube videos, so I can't really stop making those, can I? And stuff like that is just things I have to think about when wanting to make changes. The changes I do want to make while I struggle to put this on. Okay, so this is how long the car will be, which it is massive. But yeah, like I was saying, there's only some things that I can do that make sense, you know, logically, and that's just something I'm gonna have to live with. You know, even though there's stuff that I would like to change, I understand that, you know, it's not really a possibility all the time, and that's okay. There's stuff that I can do that I don't necessarily have to like give up social media or like not go in it at all, but I can at least make a little easier on myself and make it easier for me to not always be on my phone, because ultimately I feel like I kind of got away from the whole point of the video, which is me and a phone addiction and me trying to be better about it. So I kind of forgot about the whole point of the video until now, but yeah, that is what I'm trying to do. And it makes sense for me to do other things than just be on social media. So I think one of the changes I want to make is doing things with purpose. And by purpose, I mean like focus and like wanting to do something specific because it's something I want to do, and not just because it's like a compulsion. I think like the whole pulling out your phone, looking at social media thing is like a compulsive thing, which makes it really hard to like do other stuff, because if you're always like compulsively grabbing at your phone, like when are you gonna have time to do the other stuff that you want to do? Or when are you gonna have time to kind of figure out what it is that you want to be doing? So like, I think the main thing for me is that I don't want to be doing things compulsively. I want to be doing it with thought. To me, that means that I pick up my phone. I want to pick up my phone because I have a reason to, and not pick up my phone because it's just like a reaction. I think getting away from that reactively doing stuff to proactively doing stuff is like kind of the main thing that I want to focus on in the future, and it's kind of what I've been doing now. So I think that like the doing stuff on purpose is one of the biggest things for me, because I feel like a lot of times I get caught up going through the motions and doing stuff to do stuff, which isn't the best. But it also isn't the worst, because at least, you know, I'm doing something, but I really want to get towards me doing something with a purpose. One of my resolutions this year was to make videos. I mentioned it earlier, but you know, 3 hour or an hour a day off of my phone from not having TikTok is a lot of time to do a lot of different things, which I can spend doing, you know, whatever. And I'm sure a lot of us, if we looked at our phone time, screen time usage, would have kind of similar-ish results probably of how long they're on certain apps. But yeah, there is stuff that I want to do that I will not be able to do unless I focus a little more on choosing what I'm doing versus letting it happen. Okay, so quick update. I've built the front of this and also the inside. right here, you could see there's some stuff. But I have to finish, if I want to finish it off with the turbo or the Targa. I'm probably gonna go with the turbo, but then use the Targa wheels because they look better. But yeah, so I'll be back when I'm close to finish, and then I will finish the talk and the rest of my video. So, okay, so I'm almost done building it, the turbo, and honestly, like, this was a really fun build. There was a lot of stuff that I couldn't show just because I wasn't able to show it because I didn't have anything to talk about. But let me see. I just got to put some wheels on, and then I will explain to you some of the stuff that I'll explain to you some of the stuff that I did or that I built that I thought was really cool. But the last story that I wanted to talk about today was actually the story of a book I bought in San Francisco when my uncle said that I had to buy a book in a bookstore. The book I bought, it was a book called How to Relax. And basically I bought it because I was like, haha, you know, how to relax. What can I really learn from this? And he made fun of me too. He was like, oh, how to relax. I thought you do that all the time. And I was like, yeah, but maybe I'll learn something new. I didn't realize that the book that I actually bought was by a Buddhist monk named Thich Nhat Hanh. I don't know how to say his name. The book basically was an intro to Buddhist thinking. It's about how to be more fulfilled in things that you do and how to be more present in what you're doing. And I thought that really resonated with me because this was years ago. Because this was just something that I thought was really cool. It was an introduction to like kind of Buddhist teaching and thought. And the book itself is really short. It's like 100 pages. So I read it in like a night. It was really fast. And it really just showed me that there's a lot of ways to do stuff that I don't really think about to be more present in the moment. And I think this goes along well with just, everything I've been talking about, and just bringing, that stuff that I've thought about before back to now. I'll show you some of the cool things I did while off camera. So built the rear wheels here with a suspension. These wheels turn. Built the hood of the car, comes down. Built the spoiler, and there's an insane amount of detail in here for the engine. Just the building of the engine was pretty cool because there's just a lot of detail in there. It says a turbo right here, if it'll focus, and then the doors, steering wheel, there's a clutch in here. Overall, this was just it's a pretty crazy build, and it was a lot of fun to make. This was actually like a dream build of mine that I've been wanting to make forever. So I was really glad that I got it as a gift and was able to do that. But yeah, those readings really resonate with me. The book series is called How To, and basically it's how to blank. The one I got was How to Relax. I have How to Eat, How to Read, How to Connect, How to Love. There's a bunch of different books for it, so the reading kind of shows all of it. I would say that this was a good, different video experience. I don't know if I will do stuff like this in the future just because it's kind of hard to do and different. But I will say that I enjoyed it, and I sat here and did everything and it turned out well. So what else can I really complain for that? I think that I'm going to stick to the things that I said I would, and hopefully it all works out well. And I guess that's it for the video. So whatever you're going to do, just do it with meaningfulness and care. And the present moment is filled with joy and happiness. And if you are attentive, you will see it. So yeah, I will see you all when my next video comes out. I don't know when that is, but yeah. Bye-bye.